Serve is a big weapon in volleyball, but many of us has reserves on the serve. What should be the goal of the serve? What should we think about when serving? Where should we serve? What types of serves should we know? I'll answer these and similar questions in this video. Every volleyball activity has a goal, and it couldn't be more different on the serve. Sure, you may hear different goals from players or coaches. When we start volleyball, our goal is to put the serve over the net so that it lands on the court on the other side. You also hear from the young players that their goal is to make an ace, that they want to score a point from every single serve. I understand their aspirations, but that means serving at maximum risk, and that's where a lot of errors come from. You also can count on every serve being an ace. Even the biggest volleyball stars don't play this way. If you make 3 or more aces in a match, you will be happy, and it means a good performance on serve. But if you make 9 errors on top of that, it's not such a good indication of your serve. So don't think this way. The main goal of the serve is to create constant pressure on the opponent and above all to get them out of their system, out of their planned attacking strategy, to put the opponent in situations where they won't receive well, where their receptions will end up outside of the 3-meter line. Then you can be pretty sure that they won't be able to play quick sets to middle blockers, and even the sets to the outside hitters or the opposite will be higher. Your defense at the net will have less work and more time to block sets to the outside hitters or the opposite. And even the defense in the field will have a better chance of defending the attacks. Therefore, always keep in mind that your primary goal is not an ace, but an inaccurate reception by your opponent, ideally beyond the 3-meter line. If you serve in such a way that each of your serves will be received further away from the net, you have accomplished your task and your team has a great chance of scoring many points after your serve. If we look at, for example, the measurement of serving efficiency in women's volleyball that the US Volleyball Federation writes about after winning gold medals at the Olympics, and we want to know specific numbers, ideally we should push the opponent's reception away from the net 45% of the time from all the serves. We want the opponents to be out of their offensive system 4 out of 9 balls they pass. Jump float serve should be directed into the court 95% of the time, meaning we can make 1 error out of 20 serves. Jump serve should end up in the court 88% of the time, we should make 7 out of 8 serves. Every player should have a routine on serve. Routine is important because if we always prepare for the serve in the same way, we will fix the same movements and mindset on the serve. Therefore, try to build or reinforce your own routine that you will perform on every serve. Routines also calm the nerves, you are alone when you serve, you are in full control. You can concentrate fully on the serve. But you know, many things can affect you when you serve. Your insecurities, coach pressure, match result, fatigue and other things can affect you. And it's the routine, including calming your mind, replaying your serve in your head ahead of time, that will help you counter these influences. Speaking of mindset routines, we should also think positively about serving. We can go into a serve and say, I'm going to make an error anyway. I'm definitely not going to serve to the front outside hitter. Or we are in the end of the game and I know myself, I don't serve well in those situations. That's similar to on offense, receiving and serve or setting a high set. We can think negatively. We can say to ourselves that we are going to make a mistake now. We would be deliberately undermining our confidence in ourselves. We are practicing our serve, trying to improve ourselves, and that's where our confidence should come from. So when you go to serve, think positively about it. Encourage yourself. Now I'm gonna to hit serve exactly where I want it. I'm gonna serve to a good serve. My serve is not going to be received by outside hitter exactly to the net. Don't think about anything else but the serve. Just focus on it. How you are going to throw the ball good, how you are going to hit it high and it's going to go over the net to the other side. We get into a lot of situations in a match. Sometimes we are leading, sometimes we are losing. But we should always think about the next good point, the next serve. If I'm going for a 0-0 serve, I should think about it in the same way as I did for 14-14 serve in a 5th set. I shouldn't think it's the beginning of the match, now I can afford to make a mistake. Or we are up 5 points, I can take a risk now, it's not going to affect our lead anyway. On the contrary, you have to treat every serve the same, just like the routine. If I made a good serve and my team won a point, I should make the same serve again, put pressure on my opponent and expect a chance to win a point for my team. This is especially important after a timeout. The opponent's coach usually takes a timeout when he wants to break our point series. He takes a timeout to throw off the rhythm and the routine of our serving player. And we shouldn't help him by missing the serve after a timeout. Because maybe this series can continue after the timeout and can be decisive for the development of not only the set but also the match. So my advice is clear: think about every serve the same way, no matter what the situation is. And if your serve was effective, continue with the same type of serve. All players who serve apart from the libero should also develop their serve. What do I mean? Imagine that you master a very good float serve from zone 1 to zone 1. It's your big weapon. But you may find that in your rotation when you serve there will always be a libero on the other side of the net receiving your serve in zone 1. And liberos are usually the best receivers, so your quality serve will be going to be received well to the net during the match, and the setter will be able to play quick sets to all the attackers. You won't benefit from your quality serve. So it's important to develop your serve and serve quality not just to one zone. Speaking of developing your serve, this includes serving to a specific spot. I experienced this myself many times when we were serving in the national team. Coaches often gave us tasks and targets where to serve. One time it was a chair in zone 5 that we had to shoot down with our strong jump serve. The second time it was a mat in zone 1 that we were supposed to land our serve on. Or maybe a blocker standing under the net in zone 2 where we were supposed to direct our short serves. That's why it's important to learn to serve to specific spots, to zones, so that we can later apply our practiced serve in matches. Since volleyball is a collective sport, you can never play an absolutely identical match. Everything is always evolving and we have to adapt in almost every ball. Therefore, it's necessary not only to know what type of serve can help you, but also its execution. It's nice to know exactly where I want to serve, but often under pressure in a match we fail to direct our serves to that spot. If we want to get the most of our serve, we should learn to serve to specific spots for that. Volleyball is everyday evolving, and the more complex we are as players, the better we can expect our team performance to be. And complexity on serve is another point I want to mention. Every player usually serves from a certain zone. This makes our serves a bit predictable. My opponent can read my serve after a few serves. He will know that I have a good serve to zone 1 and will immediately reinforce this zone. That's why I think we should be more skilled on our serve and be able to hit the serve in all zones when we serve from zone 1, zone 6 and zone 5. Because if we can learn to serve down the line from zone 1 to zone 5 and also to be able to not only serve from zone 5 to zone 1, we'll be more complex servers. And in turn, our complexity will be our advantage over other opponents and their reception. We will not be predictable. We will be able to use serves flying from more than one zone in different situations or in different matches. We are just going to be more developed. I purposely don't talk about power and speed of serve in this video, which undoubtedly play a big role. But again, if we only serve a hard jump serve, our serve becomes predictable. The opponent on the other side can put 4 players against my serve when the opposite will be helping to 2 outside hitters and libero. Therefore, even players who have a good jump serve should be able to serve a short jump serve. If you look at the outside hitters of the French men's national team, for example, you will see that they all master this short serve. So don't forget to practice it in your training sessions and use it in matches. I believe these 8 tips on how to serve in volleyball, how to think about serving, will help you become a better player. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.